Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Regardless of when you listen to us, you're probably doing household chores. I doubt you're actually sitting there watching us. We have a dancing frog. We have a lot of low energy today. Um, Peyton, you
Kermit,
drinking
though.
anything to hype you up for today?
No.
You're just exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm exhausted. I'm trying to drink coffee as we go today, but
I'm glad
it's
you
a
said
low
coffee at
energy
the end of that.
Thursday. Yeah. Well, I mean, the listener, if you're listening to us, by now you've missed out on the deal, but Starbucks had a 50% off deal for handcrafted drinks today. So I took advantage of that, but I mean, still not waking up. It's not doing that. Caffeine is not doing the job for me it used to do. It used to wake me up and I'd be awake for hours because of it, but now I'm fading a lot faster.
Comes with age, I guess.
I guess, or a growing tolerance to caffeine, I guess.
Maybe that too.
Gonna need to start drinking more because that's how
Coffee.
all
Drinking
addictions
more
get better.
coffee.
Obviously, yes. Okay, all right. We are way off track to start today already. You're listening to Diamonds and Hashmarks. We still haven't introduced the show. That's heinous. Welcome to Diamonds and Hashmarks. It's a Thursday edition of DNH. I'm the host and producer, Alex Pichardo.
And I'm the co-host, Peyton Pichardo. You dig?
Look at that. He knows his cue now. That's awesome. Okay. We're getting better every day. We're professional at this point. Diamonds and hash marks on YouTube, Instagram, throw a @gmail.com on the end of that. That's where you can email us there. On Twitter, we are Diamond Hashmark. There is no S after Diamond or Hashmark. Elon Musk has this weird rule over there on X, formerly known as Twitter. We couldn't have those extra S's as characters, so Diamond Hashmark is the best we could do. We got a lot to get to today, but right before we do that, make sure you like and subscribe this video if you're watching. Hit us up with a 5-star review and a follow. Guys, we have a ton of impressions. A lot of you are turning the show on. I know because I'm tracking it. Not a whole lot of you are following. The more people that follow, the more people this show reaches, the more we interact with you, the fans. I guarantee it. We're going to have a ton of fans to interact with, a ton of buy, sell, or hold submissions. We're doing all right for right now, for what it's worth. But this is going to be quite the episode. We have a long day in front of us. So we're going to go ahead and get started. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. How did that happen? We're starting with baseball, though, for those of you who don't know how the show works. We're starting with baseball. Peyton, how did that happen? I think that's kind of the question that I'm asking at the end of both series.
Yep.
In the American League, I'm asking, how did that happen? Because how did home team not win a single game of that series? And then the National League, I'm asking, how did that happen? Because the Phillies lost.
Yeah.
Clearly you're rooting for Texas in the World Series.
Yeah, rooting for Texas, I think.
I think I'm rooting for Texas as well, just because they've never won a World Series and Arizona has. I think it's just good for baseball if we keep getting a new winner every once in a while.
I love that.
But have you seen any of those Brewers curse Twitter threads or Instagram videos yet?
I haven't. I don't think so.
I think, okay, the National League team that is in the World Series always goes through the Brewers. At least every time the Brewers make the playoffs, the National League team that beats the Brewers winds up in the World Series.
Huh.
I think that's happened every year since 2018. 2018, I know the Dodgers beat them, and the Dodgers went to the World Series.
Yeah.
I'm not brushed up on my history, but I think that is a thing. So, rip Brewers. But we're not talking about them. We're talking about the Astros and Rangers first. So, first of all, Peyton, his name is Adolis Garcia. And in Game 7, he went 4 for 5 with 3 runs, 2 bombs, and 5 ribbies. The final score could have been Adolis 5, Astros 4.
Right.
Plain and simple. Adolis Garcia beat the Astros in Game 7. But he's a villain, very clearly, in that series. Because of the whole scuffle, him getting hit by a pitch, him not liking it, chirping to Maldonado, bench is clearing, the pitcher Abreu getting thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
Quite the villain in Houston.
I could see the the edits starting to be made now of just like how much of a villain he is in the villain arc starting in Houston.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it probably has already started. I just haven't seen him yet.
Yeah. Well, I think the boos in Houston are incredibly loud every
Mhm.
time he went up to hit, and you know that's going to stay true next season
Yep.
because they're in the AL. This is going to be heated for years to come. As long as Adolis Garcia is in Texas, as long as he's playing games against Houston in Houston, for as long as he's in the league, it's going to be heated.
Yep.
But I don't think I've seen a guy recently take on the role of villain and put the whole team on his back along with that, as well as Adolis Garcia did.
Right.
Specifically in Game 7. And we can also throw Game 6 in there because he did the job there too. But I didn't watch all of Game 7. But by the time I went to sleep during Game 7, he had already had a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
And then he added another home run onto that after I went to sleep.
Right.
So his name is Adolis Garcia. And have you seen somebody take on the villain role and succeed as much as Adolis Garcia did and has?
In the postseason?
Just in general.
Just in general. Oh, man.
I know.
No, I had a couple come to mind, but they don't now.
Yeah. Well, other than the bad boy Pistons.
Yeah, I guess you could throw
which
them in
is
there.
basketball, and we don't talk basketball much.
Right.
But the best I could come up with is Andrew Benintendi being a Yankee killer for the 2 or 3 years that he was.
Yeah.
But that's not in the postseason.
Yeah.
Adolis
I
Garcia.
was gonna throw Pedro Martinez in there, but then like he just absolutely crumbled that one game.
During the Who's Your Daddy chance.
Yeah, called the Yankees
It's not
my
awesome.
daddies.
Yep. Just awful.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've seen somebody during the postseason just essentially turn into the Joker.
Well, again, Pedro Martinez pointing at his head.
Well, that wasn't during the postseason.
To the Yankees dugout. Oh,
no, that was Don Zimmer. He was only talking to Don Zimmer. No. He was talking to Giambi.
I think so.
Anyway, I don't. It doesn't matter anymore. But quite the villain. And when the lights were brightest, he descended further and further into being the villain, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
I love that show that he put on. But if his name is Adolis Garcia, what does that make Nathan Eovaldi? Do the Texas Rangers have 2 hymns?
Yeah, I mean both on the pitching side and I think the batting side. You got 2 hymns in their own separate categories. I think is what you're looking at there.
I think Nathan Eovaldi's middle name is Himothy, and Adolis Garcia's middle name is Himothy. Because both of them, when the lights are brightest, perform the best and get the job done, it seems. So, did you see the quote by Maldonado saying all he did was wake up the Houston Astros? But then the Astros lost the next 2 games and Adolis Garcia went off? Like, no. All you did was wake up Adolis Garcia.
Yeah, that's all you did.
That's all that happened there. Did the Astros choke?
Yeah.
Because I think we all expected them to win. We all wanted Texas to win, but I think we all expected the Astros to win.
I think so.
But I don't know if I'm willing to call it a choke, though.
Okay.
Because the home team didn't win a single game. It was tight the entire time. It's not like Houston had a 3-0 lead or a 3-1 lead even.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they choked. I think they just lost good baseball. And didn't show up in Game 7. For what it's worth, over the course of the series, they did not choke. In Game 7, oh yeah, they choked.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's what okay. So that's the consensus on this show is Houston did not choke the series, but they choked Game 7.
Yeah.
It's a home game. They had Javier go out there, who previously had done a great job. And we said that game's going to come down to who has a better fastball, Javier or Scherzer. Because both of them, it seemed, the fastball created success for Javier, and it created a disadvantage for Scherzer. And I think that was the tale of the tape. Javier only survived the first inning. I can't remember if he made it out of the first inning. but Scherzer had the better fastball, turned in the better performance. And what we've seen, the key to success in October be, is whoever's starting pitcher turns in a better performance is going to win any given night.
Yeah.
And Scherzer turned in the better performance.
Yep.
Granted, he only made it 3 innings, 2 and 2/3, something like that. Can't remember how long Scherzer lasted, but it was longer than Javier, and he had a better fastball. Agreed. Are you shocked? Are you shocked that the Rangers won and are headed to the World Series, or are you still sitting there? Okay.
I'm still sitting here and enjoying the fact that we got 2 of the teams that nobody thought that were going to be able to make it to this stage of the postseason, and they're here. And I'm trying to figure out how long the pitcher went for. I can't think of his name right now.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I think back to what I said earlier. We all expected Houston to go back to the World Series, and we were going to have to sit here and be miserable until spring training.
Yeah.
But I think we wound up a little shocked that Texas made it, but at the same time, they were one of baseball's better teams the entire year.
Yeah.
Like, they did lead the AL West most of the season. They didn't ultimately win it, but look at who's still standing.
Right.
Okay, so he only survived 1 out.
Yeah.
But there were 3 runs.
Yeah.
In that first inning, so that's brutal. Yeah. On another note regarding Game 7 and the end of Game 7, with the Rangers moving on, the Astros being done, it looks like Dusty Baker is also done. And I think he held his formal press conference today announcing that he's retiring from the game of baseball. So just what are your initial thoughts hearing that Dusty is in fact done this time around 2023?
Yeah. Good for him. I'm finally glad that he got a ring, even though it was with the Houston Astros at some point. That's the only one that he had, but he's had a great managerial career. I think just throughout his whole entire, 26-year stint. I can't remember exactly what the number was, but happy for him. And I think it's about time. I think it's what we were talking about. I think last episode even. So
yeah,
happy for him. And now Astros got to go find another manager here soon.
Yeah. Any shot they return to AJ Hinch?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Any shot they bring in Craig Counsell for an interview?
Oh, that's a hot take right there.
Yeah, because I think the Mets are interested in Craig Counsell.
I was like, the Mets are interested. Wouldn't surprise me, though.
Yeah.
Craig Counsell's great.
At the very least, an interview, you got to think. So Dusty's done. I mean, fantastic career. Glad he got his ring in 2022. Hated the fact that it was with the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
But definitely a guy who's left his mark on the game. And you're sad to see him go, but happy he did it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very excited for him and the career that he had. Let's shift gears. Game 6 and 7. We got a lot to cover here.
Mm-hmm.
Game 6. The wheels started to come off. I think in the second inning, we saw Pham go yard. We saw Gurriel go yard, back-to-back home runs, and then Longoria shot one in the left center field gap. It looked like Aaron Nola started missing over the heart of the plate, stopped dotting the corners and the sides and the edges like he normally does. And I think we saw, I can't remember how many pitches it was, but all the damage came against pitches that missed their spot over the heart of the plate. Bomb, double. And I think Longoria ultimately wound up scoring. And boy, did he pay for it. As the show has said, the starting pitcher that turns in the better performance of any given game is going to give his team the win. Whoever can get to the bullpen with a lead is going to win, the way that these bullpens are put together, at least in the National League.
Right.
Ketel Marte is a guy that's on fire. Corbin Carroll, he kind of started his postseason career off a little slow. Man, did he turn it on Game 7. We'll get to that. But Ketel Marte is the guy who got it done. Game 6, he had 2 ribbies. But I don't think we can have a conversation about Philly versus Arizona and not have a conversation about the disappearance of Philly's offense. In Game 6, they only scored 1 run. and that's
Yeah.
just not going to get it done in October. Game 7, they scored 2 runs. Could get it done in October if you had a starting pitcher named Zach Wheeler available to pitch the whole game and not just the
Yeah.
8th and 9th. What happened
Agreed.
to that offense? Like, yeah, they disappeared, but were you able to identify any particular reason why, or what went on?
No, it was more like a shock. We've seen,
Yeah.
I think, this whole entire series that Philly was out there and they were ready to play, whether it was in Citizens Bank Park or not. And they kind of just faded away in the wind. I
Yeah.
really can't pinpoint anything that I can think of, like, off the top of my head, because it's not what we're accustomed to seeing.
Yeah. We're used to seeing Philadelphia just rocking, Citizens Bank Park rocking. I think we saw Kyle Schwarber get off to a hot start, put one in the seats, and Philly was rocking.
Yeah.
But if I had to pinpoint it, I think I go here. I think I say this is an offense built for the long ball, to produce multiple runs in a single inning because they get hot. I don't know if the offense was necessarily built for, guys, we need one run and we gotta get somebody on, however, bunt them over, knock them in. We need to make things happen. I don't think they're an offense that was necessarily built for, guys, we just need to put the ball in play. It looked like the long ball disappeared and it cost them.
Agreed with that.
Game 7, first, though, of course, we're having a conversation about Philly failing offensively, but I don't think we can say solely Philadelphia failed. I think we can also say Merrill Kelly pitched his butt off.
Yeah.
5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, walked 3 batters, but struck out 8, which I think only lends itself further to the point of view of saying Philly was built for the long ball. And it didn't happen for him in Game 6.
Yeah.
And boy, did it cost them.
It did.
Game 7, Corbin Carroll turned it on. Brandon Pfaadt did what he needed to do. He got through 4 or 5 innings. Just got the job done. They weren't asking for a whole lot. They were just trying to see how far they could get with their starting pitcher. I think we made it through 4 innings, and he only had 2 earned at that point, but the 2 earned were both single numbers on the scoreboard. They weren't crooked, and I think that was very helpful for the bullpen, not getting them involved earlier. And we saw Philly's offense disappear again. Game 7, Philly's offense went 5 for 31. Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, and Nick Castellanos, Game 7, combined 0 for 16. That is
that can't happen.
tough. That can't happen. That can't happen from those guys. And I think there's one specific sequence that I want to point to, and it's when there were 2 runners on and Brandon Marsh was up. And Brandon Marsh essentially took 4 straight balls, and he goes to first base like he should have.
Yeah.
Take your walk, go to first base. But this is earlier in the game. I think it was the 4th or 5th inning. And Victor Rojas was the next hitter. I think the Arizona Diamondbacks looked at where they were in the lineup, saw Brandon Marsh walking up there and said, do the intentional walk thing, put him on, because we got Victor Rojas next, and I don't think Rob Thompson is going to pinch hit for him. That's a favorable matchup, righty-righty, and Rojas isn't going to hurt us.
Yeah.
So put Brandon Marsh on, see if he bites. Okay, he didn't. We got Rojas. Let's go to work right here on Rojas. Bases loaded, tough spot, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you're Rob Thompson in the 4th inning or 5th inning, and Victor Rojas is coming up to the plate with the bases loaded, how are you not pinch hitting?
Right. Yeah, I would pinch hit in an instant. Trying to look at Rojas' stats here a little bit as well, just to kind of get a gauge of like what exactly did happen. Yeah, I mean, only like 2 hits in the past 5 games in that whole entire series, and like 5, maybe 4 strikeouts to go along with it. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I feel like you have somebody better on that bench to really get you a hit, a guaranteed hit, and to get you some runs on the board. So. It was interesting. It was an interesting call.
obviously in the lineup because he's a great defensive center fielder. But do you think he's that much better of a defensive center fielder than Christian Pecci? I don't think so. Probably not. Let's
Yeah,
throw a left-handed pinch hitter. I'm not familiar with the Phillies bench and how that works, but
sure.
my gut says you had to have a left-handed pinch hitter who was uh, going to be better suited for that situation. If
Right.
not that, you're knocking Brandon Pfaadt out of the game because you're bringing up a left-handed hitter. Lavello probably rolls the dice and says, let's get the bullpen involved with a left-handed thrower. I don't know if they had anybody warming up at that point in time, but I mean, if
Yeah.
you're running the numbers, you got to think Rojas isn't the guy for this spot. We need to get somebody else involved.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So, did Philly choke?
I think so. Yeah.
Did they choke the series or just game 7?
Game 7.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
I'm willing to say they choked the series.
Oh, okay.
You were winning the series count 2-0, and now you're showing up in Arizona
Mhm.
for 3 straight, and I think a different team got off the plane. I don't think the Philly that won the first 2 games was the Philly that showed up the last 5 games of that series.
Dang.
Because
That's how it
I
be.
think both of us looked at this and said Arizona is toast because
Yeah,
they're
we
playing
did.
Philly.
Right.
And we said Philly was going to celebrate in Arizona's hot tub
Pool.
/ pool.
Yeah.
And
And it
that
didn't
didn't happen. So Arizona and the Texas Rangers are squaring off in the World Series. Game 1, we got Nathan Eovaldi, big game Nate Himothy versus Zach Gallen.
Yeah.
Both of those starters have already been announced, and that's happening Friday. So tomorrow we got game 1 of the World Series, and I'm stoked. It's the best baseball out of the entire year, and it just so happens to be the last baseball of the entire year. There's nothing else to do but sit at your window and wait for spring after this. So I'm looking forward to it. We got Nathan Eovaldi, Himothy versus Zach Gallen game 1. What are the keys to success for Texas? If Texas is winning the World Series, why did they do it?
Starts with the pitching, I think. You got Eovaldi, Monty, Jordan Montgomery, and Max Scherzer. I think all going to go like 1, 2, 3. It all starts with the pitching. It all starts about who's going to have the better fastball. So they have to strike early in that lineup. They have to have their pitching at least probably go maybe 5 innings if they can, and then maybe rely on their bullpen when they can't.
So you're saying that my theory on whoever has a starting pitcher that turns in the better performance is going to give you that game is going to stay true here?
I think so.
Okay. All right. I mean, I think so too. I think a lot of this comes down to how good of a starting pitching performance can each of the Texas Rangers big guys give in.
Yeah.
Or turn in. So if Arizona wins this series, how did they do it? Why?
Yeah. They get hot at the right time, and they don't waste their opportunities at the plate.
Yeah.
I think that's what it boils down to. We've seen them. I think just this whole entire, even like leading up to the postseason, them like scrounging their way to get into the wild card. Then they win the wild card, then the division series, then the championship series. Now they're here on the big stage, going for their second World Series title. Like, Alex, who did I have? I had the Baltimore Orioles and the Atlanta Braves in the World Series. This is something completely different that we're getting here. We're getting Texas Rangers and 84 and 78 Arizona Diamondbacks.
I know. What a ride.
What a ride, right? Like, this is going to be exciting baseball to watch. And Arizona has just been hot, I think, this whole entire time. It wouldn't surprise me to see them win a couple of games here to start out.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the team that Arizona has turned into. And game 6 and game 7, even your point leading into the postseason, just that scrappy team that does everything it can to make life difficult for the opposing pitcher and scratch a run across if they can. And I think your point about getting hot at the right time is kind of true because Ketel Marte has obviously turned it on. He's the most dangerous hitter in that lineup right now.
Yeah.
And Corbin Carroll turned it on game 7, started creating some havoc on the base paths against JT Realmuto, of all people, who has the best pop time in MLB.
Yeah.
So if Arizona wins, it's because they don't miss an opportunity. If Texas wins, it's because they stay true to themselves, strike early, and just suffocate the opportunities that Arizona has. Merrill Kelly is an option for game 2. Jordan Montgomery is an option for game 2. Those haven't been announced yet. I'm speculating. That's what we're going to see. Same thing. Arizona can't waste their opportunity. Merrill Kelly needs to show up when the lights are brightest. Jordan Montgomery needs to show up when the lights are brightest.
Agreed.
Whoever lasts longer in that game with the lead is going to be who wins. That's what the tale of this postseason has been. I expect that to stay true.
Yeah.
Who wins World Series MVP? Because I think we saw Adolis Garcia win, and it's either Ketel Marte or Corbin Carroll who won over in the National League Championship Series. But
yes, so I'll give you a World Series MVP for AL and NL. How about that?
Okay,
let's do that.
Fair enough.
So for the AL, I think Adolis just like shines brightest in these lights. So I think Adolis will probably take the World Series MVP and run with it. NL side, give me Carroll, man. He's dangerous.
Yeah. How about this? I think if we wind up going 7 games, I think we see Nathan Eovaldi 3 times. In which case, he's winning the AL World Series, or he's winning the World Series MVP.
Mm-hmm.
If this game is 5 games or shorter, we're only seeing him twice or possibly once. In which case, I give it to Adolis Garcia. Over on the National League side, really, it's just take your pick. Because I think each one of them is willing to fight as hard as the next guy just to get on base. It's not like they have that guy that every time he gets up, you're like, oh, he's a threat to go yard. No, it's every guy that gets up, he's a threat to get on base and cause some havoc. Not because he's fast, but just because they're going to do the fundamentals right. And they're going to take a base if you throw the ball. They're not going to waste an opportunity. So, Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll just pick Montero, the catcher, just because he's a guy that has just been so scrappy. I mean, took a foul ball off the hand. You saw it bruise up live on TV, and they're wrapping it up, and he's like, "I'm staying in this game, dude." And I'll take Montero to do it.
Okay.
Who wins the World Series? Give me your winner and how many games?
The series is going to go to 7.
You think so?
Yeah. The series is going to go to 7. It's going to be hard fought. Not Brandon fought. It's going to be hard fought, and I think we're just going to see maybe, I don't know, road domination in this game. So
you think so? You think it's
Arizona's
a repeat
in Texas, and when Texas isn't in Arizona?
Interesting.
We'll see.
So who wins?
I think that's what's going to happen.
I'm making you take a stance right now. Who wins?
I don't know, Alex. We've been seeing that against this whole World Series. It's going to go to 7.
This show hasn't gotten a single thing right since we've started. So whoever you pick, obviously the bettors should take the opposite.
Right. So I think Texas will win.
Okay.
It's going to go to 7. Texas will win.
So obviously, I should say this is going to be Arizona in 4.
Yeah.
That way we got both bases covered. No, I seriously think Texas is winning in 5.
Okay.
And that's because I look at the star power on both of these teams, and I think Texas has it, and Arizona doesn't. Where has that gotten me so far? Picking against Arizona in every series and being wrong.
Yep.
I think the longer this series goes, the better shot Arizona has. The shorter the series goes, the better shot Texas has.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. That's kind of most of our baseball conversation. Although there have been a couple of breaking news, I don't know, blips in the past couple of days. None of which that we've covered so far on this show. But I guess we should kind of get into. We had the conversation of who should be the next general manager, chief of baseball operations for the Boston Red Sox. And I came on here and I said, there are 3 right answers. Maybe a 4th if we're going to count Alex Cora as possibly stepping up into the general manager, chief of... You good?
I dropped the pen. Sorry.
Okay. Maybe I'll edit that out. Maybe I won't. If you're listening, sorry about your ears. Anyway, Maybe we'll count Alex Cora if he's willing to step up into the general manager role. But Craig Breslow, not the
Mhm.
guy that I thought it was going to be. Previously played for the Red Sox, I think in 06, and then again from, oh gosh, like 2013 to 2016, 2015, something like that. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts? Do you have any thoughts? Are you kind of like me where you're
I
like,
didn't I
I
didn't know
don't,
who this guy was. I would be
yeah,
honest.
I've had to look him up. I don't know who he
Looking him
is,
up right
but
now.
apparently he spent some time in the Cubs front office. He's been an assistant GM before, so it looks like a guy that obviously knows how to do the job. I don't think the Red Sox would have hired him if they weren't confident in him,
Yeah.
but not the guy that I thought it was going to be. So, hey, if you're going to go out there put together a team that's capable of winning, I'm your guy. I'm gonna stand behind you. I'm gonna have your back in a bar fight. I'm there for
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna turn in a performance like Kyle Bloom and bleep hits the fan, well, uh, you kind of knew what to do and you didn't do it, or you
Mhm.
didn't have the courage to get done what needed to be done. So I guess
Right.
that's kind of where I stand.
Yeah.
I'm in wait and see mode.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and it sounded like the front office was saying as much in their statements. It was just kind of like, look, we expect to win, and Craig is the guy we think is going to give us the best opportunity to do that with the team that we have and with the leadership that we have.
Mhm.
Which I did hear was kind of a turnoff for other applicants. Was
Oh
the
wow.
Red Sox have committed to Cora? Cora has committed to the Red Sox at least for 2024, and I guess some applicants were kind of hesitant to sign up for the job or withdrew their name from consideration just because of the commitment to Cora. It sounded like
Yeah.
so. I don't exactly know what that says, but I'm glad everybody involved is on the same boat, and I guess I'm in wait and see mode. How are you feeling about it?
I'm in wait and see mode too. I think this is going to be like a trial and error kind of moment, and how he really just handles the front office and try to get us some players and get us Otani. Who said that? What?
Who said that? That's insane. Or Juan Soto. Who said that? I don't know. I think he wants to be in Boston. Hey, did you hear that Jason Varitek was a candidate for the San Francisco Giants opening?
Really?
Yeah, I think they interviewed him. I'm not quite sure if they did or not, but the Giants ultimately went with Bob Melvin out of the San Diego Padres
Yeah.
to replace Gabe Kapler, who they fired not too long ago.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think it's a good move for San
Me too.
Francisco. I think San Diego is in shambles.
Yeah.
They got to
You have
move
that one
one.
season with like 100+ win season with Kapler, and then you can't respond to that. So
No. I'm talking about San Diego, not San Francisco.
sorry. Haha.
That's
My
two shows in a row now. Dang.
bad.
Yeah, I think San Diego is in absolute shambles right now. I think
Yeah,
they
I agree.
got too many prima donnas, divas in that locker room. I don't think uh, Bob Melvin stood a chance with that locker room. So I
Yeah.
think he's going to succeed over there in San Francisco. And good luck to whoever's taking over in San Diego, is all I have to say. How do you feel
Well,
about the Bob Melvin in San Francisco?
I don't know about it.
Yeah. I
I
don't
think
think I know enough about the Giants' personalities
yeah.
on that
It,
team to
it
know how
reminds
it
me.
works.
It reminds me of the coaching carousel that you would do into NCAA football dynasty.
Uh huh.
Like you just kind of assign coaches and offensive coordinators to head coaching positions, and it's like okay, whatever, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So yeah.
We'll see next year. We have a whole offseason to go through. We have a whole possibly 7 game World Series to go through first before we figure all that out.
Hmm.
Right. So I guess that's just some of the news you can be looking forward to during the offseason. We're going to be covering all the free agent signings, the hot stove when it's burning, and really break all that stuff down. But let's get into buy, sell, or hold for now.
Yep.
You game? All right, here we go. Buy, sell, or hold. This World Series was the commissioner's office worst nightmare. It's
Yes. To
the
buy.
Arlington market and the Phoenix, Arizona market. You're
Yes.
buying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's nobody who we expected to. They wanted the big name, big player, key players, and there are some key players. There are some big names in here, but like it's not like accustomed to what we were going to see, and what the MLB was hoping for. Sorry, excuse me. So yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're sitting there in the commissioner's office, you were looking at this postseason and you said Los Angeles is a possible market, Atlanta's a possible market, a resurgent Baltimore is a possible market, even over in Tampa, they had a shot to possibly build a fan base there. They didn't show up for their series though. Bit unfortunate. Minnesota even showed up for their series. Had a chance to have the Twins in it. Toronto was a market, but now we're sitting here with Phoenix and essentially Arlington, Texas. Are they still in Arlington? Have I been getting that wrong this whole time?
No, they're in Arlington.
They are? Okay. Arlington and Phoenix.
Yes.
So I'm buying that as well. You could have had Los Angeles or Atlanta in this. Yeah. Shoot, you could have even had Philadelphia in this. And now it's Phoenix.
Yep.
So kind of rough buying that wholeheartedly. Buy, sell, or hold. The Diamondbacks won the series more than Philadelphia choked the series.
So I think Philadelphia choked more.
Yeah. While I am willing to say Philly choked, I think I'm buying this because the Diamondbacks didn't miss an opportunity.
That's true.
They had to get it right.
Winning the World Series. So maybe so.
Yeah. They had to get it right every single time they had an opportunity to, and I think they did. They did what was needed to win, so I'm willing to say that the Diamondbacks won more than Philly choked. Like, while Philly did give them the opportunities, I don't think Arizona missed them. Let's transition into a little bit of football.
Let's do it.
I think in the football offseason, whoa, that's ugly. I think in the football offseason, we're going to be covering a lot of the mock draft and where people are and where we expect to see guys go. Bob, I can't remember his name. Oh, this is bad. The guy over at ESPN that does his mock draft. God, no. There's another guy. Anyway, one of his mock drafts recently was taking every current team's record into account and trying to see what is the best fit for him. Maybe. Anyway, all right. The Patriots were slated at 5th. Too far away for Caleb Williams, obviously, at that point. Too far away for Marvin Harrison, Maserati Marv, at that point. But he had the Patriots slated at like 5th or 6th overall for their pick.
Yeah.
And he had them taking Brock Bowers out of Georgia, the tight end. So, buy, sell, or hold. Brock Bowers to the Patriots in round 1 of the upcoming draft is more scary than Caleb Williams to the Patriots.
So what are we saying? We're seeing like a Gronk part 2, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Where I think the Patriots look at their personnel and they say, money can buy an offensive line. Mac Jones with an offensive coordinator that knows what he's doing may actually succeed. Oh, look, now we have baby Gronk and Brock Bowers. We can just revert back to what we did with Brady and Gronkowski. Guys, okay, I am not saying that this is going to be Mac Jones, Brock Bowers. I'm not saying Mac Jones, Brock Bowers is Brady Gronkowski. That's not what I'm saying at all. All I'm saying is it gives the Patriots a shot to do what they did with Gronkowski with Brock Bowers. So buy, sell, or hold, that's more scary than them winding up with Caleb Williams.
I think when you explain it like that, I was ready to sell like almost immediately. But when you say it like that, I think that's fair. I think I'll buy that.
Yeah. I think I'll I don't know. Money can buy an offensive line. I think anybody that gets Caleb Williams with an offensive coordinator that knows what they're doing is going to be dangerous. I don't think the Patriots exactly have the willingness to spend money on an offensive line, nor do they have an offensive coordinator or coaching personnel that supports an offensive-minded quarterback or supports a young quarterback. So I guess I'm willing to buy that Brock Bowers is going to be in New England and scary in New England. We got Florida, Georgia this weekend. It's always around Halloween, always in Jacksonville, always a good time. Yep. World's largest outdoor cocktail party. Buy, sell, or hold. The University of Florida wins or is blown out by 30.
I'll buy that they get blown out by 30.
Okay. I'm buying this. I don't think there's an in between here. I think if Florida loses, they're losing by 30. If they lose, I don't think there's a shot they lose by just 3 or just 7.
Yeah.
I think Florida either wins because Georgia got off to an extremely slow start, or Georgia gets off to a hot start and Florida has no shot. That's what I
Right.
see happening here.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like we're in agreement on everything so far today.
I think so.
All right. If you're joining us now as a football only listener around this 40-minute mark, I just want to let you know, go ahead, like and subscribe to the video. Hit us up with a 5-star review. Look for us at Diamonds and Hash Marks on every platform except for Twitter/X. Hit us up there, Diamond Hashmark on Twitter. There is no S. Throw an @gmail.com at the back end of Diamonds and Hashmarks, and that's where you can reach us via email to let us know what you think about what we think. Let's get into it. The Jags are playing the Steelers this upcoming weekend. I looked at the schedule that the Steelers have played, and I think the teams that they've beaten is impressive. Like, I think the Steelers' overall body of work this season is like, if this were college football, I think they would be ranked because of the body of work they put together. But it's not. It's professional football, so it's not a top 25. I don't think the team is all that impressive, though. Zay Jones and T-Law, I think as of yesterday, have both been listed as questionable.
Yeah.
I'm hoping both of them play. If the Jags
too.
win this game, what are their keys to success?
They can't allow Steelers defense to stifle them on the running game, I think, and ETN has to be able to run inside and run outside. I think short passes and checkdowns are going to be our friend this game, as it was during the Saints game. There was a couple shots that we did take downfield, and or not even actually. Christian Kirk's touchdown was a short check down to him, and then he took it to the house. So, just run that same game plan. I think we're gonna be fine. Our only threat, there's multiple threats on defense. Cameron Hayward comes to mind. TJ Watt. So it's gonna be interesting, I think. But run that same game plan. I think we're gonna be okay.
Yeah, I think our analysis of Jags football continues to come back to ETN and continues to be, the more involved he is, the more successful he is, the better off we are. Yeah. And I think if we look back at the last 5 games of the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have won 26-22 against the Browns, won 23-18 against Las Vegas, lost to Houston 30-6. What happened, Matt Canada? They won against Baltimore 17-10, and Baltimore looks like a juggernaut right now. So that's an impressive win. They won against the Los Angeles Rams 24-17. You'll notice not a single one of these games that the Pittsburgh Steelers won did their opponent score 30-plus points. And we've seen the Jags offense put up 30-plus points, I think, twice this year.
Yeah.
So here's what I'll say. If we win, it's because we scored 30 points or more. If we lost, it's because we stayed under the 25-point threshold.
Yeah.
Because that seems to be the Steelers' recipe for success. Burn clock and play a defensive game.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's kind of what you have to do if Matt Canada is your offensive coordinator. At Steelers fans. I know how y'all feel about him. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great game. I'm in the viewing area, so 1 p.m. Sunday, you know where I'll be.
You're
watching
I think
that
I'll be
game
as well, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm taking the Jags to win. Who are you taking?
Jags.
Okay. Yeah, here. I'll look at Caesar Sportbooks real quick. We'll get this pick out of the way. Jacksonville favored by 2.5.
Oh.
Jags cover. Over under at 41. I'm taking the over, obviously, because I think in order to win, you have to score more than 30.
Yeah, so, and I agree with that. So over.
Okay.
So it's basically like you're picking a winner.
Yeah. If it's less than a field goal, you're picking a winner here. I think one of the more intriguing
Yeah,
matchups of this upcoming
I think I'll take the
weekend
Jags.
is Cincinnati versus San Francisco. Wow, you lagged like crazy right there. Or you were thinking about whether or not you were actually taking the Jags?
Say it one more time. You're kind of lagging a little bit.
Oh, wow. I guess we're both lagging. That's awkward. Anyway, I think one of the more intriguing matchups this upcoming weekend is Cincinnati versus San Francisco because
Yeah,
we've seen San Francisco lose a couple. Brock Purdy is out this upcoming week. He's in concussion protocol. It looks like he's out. I'm not sure if that's confirmed, but at this point in time, right
yeah,
now, it looks like Sam Darnold is going to be the starter, and it looks like Cincinnati has kind of turned it around. Rough, shaky start. Joe Burrow hurt with a calf injury. But I think they've won 3 straight?
yeah.
Cincinnati has?
I
Yeah,
think so.
no, no. In their last 5, they went loss, win, loss, win, win. So it looks like they're slowly starting to turn it around. I
Yeah.
think this game's intriguing just because you have Cincinnati with an opportunity to get plus 500 and San Francisco trying to figure out how to keep that from happening with a backup quarterback.
hmm
How do you think Brock Purdy being out is going to affect the Niners? Will it affect the Niners?
I think it does. I think we're looking at the Niners having 3 straight losses here. Because as you said, the Bengals are turning it back on again. We're starting to see a little bit more. I actually have Joe Burrow starting in this game. Hopefully, see where he goes. And if not, then I think I'm either going to trade him or I'm going to drop him because he has been not doing anything in regards to my fantasy team.
Yeah.
But I totally see Bengals taking this one probably, and then the Niners are like scrounging for anything to hold on to at this point with the 3
Yeah.
straight loss.
It doesn't help that Brock Purdy is out. I don't know if
Not
he's
at all.
elite. I don't know if he's not elite. I just know that with Brock Purdy in the lineup, you're better off than you are with Sam Darnold.
Right.
San Francisco favored by 3.5. How do you feel about that?
Oh,
I don't love that. I think
I don't
that's a
love it
great
either.
line by Vegas.
Yeah,
I think they did their job with that one.
Bengals will
I
cover
think I
that.
like Cincinnati. Yeah, Cincinnati covers over under at 43.5.
Under. Why not? Just send it.
Yeah, I'll take the over just to be a contrarian. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see how we do that. Again,
Yeah.
we're thinking about adding the where we were wrong segment. So we'll see if that makes an appearance again.
Sure.
The Sunday night game, Chargers versus Bears. So here's how we're going to tackle this one. Who cares? Let's move on.
Right.
College football. This is going to be an interesting segment. We're talking college football, and I don't think how you can talk college football this week without at some point talking about the Michigan cheating scandal.
Yep.
And what's going on there. I have watched so many videos and read so many articles trying to figure out exactly what happened, why it's bad, why it's good, why nobody cares, why everybody cares, why this is the biggest thing to happen in college football in a while, and why this
hmm
is a nothing burger. Guys,
Right.
I don't know what to think. All I'm going to give you are the facts. Here's what we got. Michigan has been accused of sending a scout to future opponent games to record the sideline with his phone to then decipher the signs they are using to know the play calling signals, to adjust in real time in a game to see the signal, know what it means, and adjust their defense accordingly. And here's where we're getting into analysis now. No more facts.
Yeah.
This is all opinion. This is all conjecture. Reckless speculation, if you will. Of the 100 plus NCAA football programs in the NCAA, I said NCAA twice there. That was awkward. Anyway, moving on. Of the 100 plus football programs, do you think Michigan is the only one stealing signs or attempting to?
No,
So why does this matter?
it doesn't. I haven't heard anything about this. Like,
Okay.
rarely. Like, ESPN has covered it like a couple of times, and other than that, that's all I've heard. There's like, why does this matter? Like,
Yeah.
anyway.
I think Jeff Saturday, Dominique Foxworthy, Swagoo, and Mike Greenberg had the best segment regarding this. They covered the facts. They said, this is what's going on. Let's talk about it. And each one of those guys said, college, NFL, if you think there's only one team trying to decipher and figure out signs, you're wrong because everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Everybody's cranking up volume. Everybody's watching tape on Peyton Manning using different code words, and everybody's trying to decipher it. If you're that concerned that your signs are getting stolen, change them. It's that easy. The element I don't think is okay is the recording using the phone to do that on the sideline.
Yeah.
That's the part of this entire thing so far that feels the sketchiest. It's just
Yeah.
that there was a phone used to record on the sideline. They had a travel budget set up for this guy. It looked like $15,000 was spent for him to fly/drive to these games to then sit front row so that he could record the sideline. Doesn't
Wow.
look like he ever spoke to Harbaugh directly, so it looks like Harbaugh has immunity. I guess when it comes to this, it doesn't look like this falls on Harbaugh. I
Yeah.
don't know where the NCAA goes from here. Michigan is one of your most storied programs, and you have a hard time punishing people anyway as it is because you're the NCAA and you do nothing. I
Right.
don't think they flip the switch and suddenly, like, annihilate their most storied program, their winningest program. I don't think
Yeah.
they do that out of nowhere. I think Colin Cowherd had some of the best analysis on this recently. Not to totally steal what he said, but I'm going to. Michigan is number 2 in the country. Why does this matter? Because Michigan's number 2 in the country. Colin said, basically, if Kirk Cousins was deflating footballs, nobody cares. If Tom Brady's deflating footballs, everybody cares because he's good and they won.
Yeah.
If Kirk Cousins deflated footballs, nobody cares because it's Kirk Cousins. He's not awesome at the quarterback position. The Vikings aren't winning.
Mhm.
If UAB is doing this, sending somebody, taking a recording, deciphering signs, and
UAB
losing,
is crazy. Yeah.
then nobody cares. They're probably doing that anyway. If Michigan, the number 2 team in the country, is doing that, suddenly everybody cares.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see what Kirby Smart said about this?
No, I didn't.
They actually asked him, hey, you played against Michigan in the title game. Did you think they were stealing signs? And Kirby Smart essentially said, and I'm quoting roughly here, he said, nothing they did in that game would make me think they're stealing signs.
That's cold.
You look back on the score, it's 34-11.
That's cold. That's cold.
Kirby Smart essentially said, they could have been cheating and they lost. That's how much better we were.
That's cold.
How do
Kirby
you
for
cheat
the
and
win.
lose? I
Kirby
know.
for
How do
the
you
win.
cheat and lose?
I
That's
love
crazy.
that.
Speaking of Kirby Smart,
Yeah.
the University of Georgia is going head-to-head against Florida. We already covered this briefly in buy, sell, or hold. Do you think Florida has a shot here?
It's Georgia. No.
Okay. Georgia by 1 million?
Georgia by 1 million. Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, so let's debate about this a little bit because I think Florida has a shot. And it's not just the water here in Gainesville that's making me think that. You want to know why?
Why? Yeah. Why? Is he the Graham Mertz is gonna do it for you guys?
No, he's Zach Wilson when Zach Wilson wasn't gripping and ripping. Here's why I think Florida has a shot. Because Georgia has gotten off to slow starts in the past. That's the only reason I think Florida has a shot. Not because Florida starts fast, or because Florida always does well against Georgia, or plays better against Georgia than it does the rest of their opponents. I think Florida has a shot because for whatever reason this season it looks like the University of Georgia plays down to their opponent. And if you're going to sink to the level of the Florida Gators, that's some bad football.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Shoot, I mean, we can outplay ourselves, maybe. So if the University of Georgia gets off to a slow start, Florida wins by the slimmest of margins. That's the only reason I'm saying that. Is because we did that against Tennessee at home. And what happened there is we tried to give the game to Tennessee at the end of it there. But we didn't. We won with a slim margin. I think if Georgia starts off slow like Tennessee did in that game, we win by a slim margin. If that doesn't happen, we're getting blown out by 30. And I'll be honest about that.
Okay. Fair enough.
let's go ahead and look at the spread and everything on this game.
Yeah.
This segment is not brought to you by Caesars Sportbooks, but that's who we're using to determine our line here. It looks
Yeah.
like Georgia is favored by 14.5. I think Florida covers. Florida covers.
Georgia covers.
Over under at 48.5. Over. It's
Slamming
Florida,
the over.
Georgia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
slamming the
let's
over.
get it on.
Yeah.
Utah versus Oregon, another game at 3:30. It looks like all the good games are on at 3:30, so I'm going to have to figure out how to get another screen going.
Yeah.
Oregon coming off a loss against Washington. I think they had a bye week last week. I can't remember. Utah coming off a win against USC. Both teams 6-1. This is a Pac-12 matchup. Can Oregon slow down a backup quarterback? Cam Rising isn't coming back this year.
Right?
I would think that they can.
Yeah. If they can't, they're really, in a sense, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope they can.
This is, I think Oregon has to have a better defense than USC. Yeah. They have to, right?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So I think Bo Nix and Oregon get the job done here against Utah, just because they're not USC. Well, actually, I was wrong. Oregon lost to Washington, but then they beat Washington State.
Oh, okay.
38-24, so they have played since then. Caesar Sportbooks, again, putting Oregon as the favorite in this one by 6.5. I'm taking that.
Yeah, I'll take
over under at 47.5. Taking that as well.
Taking what exactly?
The over. I'm taking the over there. Sorry.
He said, I was like, what is he taking? Over as well. Yeah, I'll agree with you on that game. That's good.
Yeah, I think with even though it's not a USC style defense, as in no defense, I think we're still looking at a high scoring game here, just because Oregon, in its own right, is a very impressive offense. This last game that we're going to preview and get into a little bit is the Battle of Notre Dame champions, Duke versus Louisville. Let's talk about this one a little bit. Both teams crushing Notre Dame at one point or another this year. It looks like it's a fairly even matchup. Just because the ESPN matchup predictor puts Louisville favored at 53.4% over Duke's 46.6%. So we're within a pretty close margin here.
Yeah.
Duke coming off... Oh, actually, I'm wrong.
Okay.
Sorry, Notre Dame fans. It looks like you did beat Duke 21-14. So...
Oh, man.
What? This is the second time I've had to apologize to fans this year, but I guess I'm apologizing to Notre Dame fans. I misremembered. That's on me. I'll leave that one up. Y'all still are trash though. Duke versus Louisville. It looks like Caesar Sportbooks is putting this one at Louisville favored by 4.5, and I'm taking Duke to cover. I think I'm taking Duke to win this one outright, just because their quarterback presumably is healthy enough to go in this one, and I don't think Louisville plays dirty like FSU and is going to injure the quarterback midway through the game. So taking Duke over under at 46.5. I'm taking the under. I don't expect much offense though.
Yeah, I don't expect much offense, but I do expect Louisville to take this one. So Louisville wins and covers.
Yeah. Do you see any other intriguing matchups you want to talk about a little bit? Because I know I didn't ask before we got started.
I don't have it pulled up.
I think we got your boys over there in Texas are playing a big game this week. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Clemson, NC State. I know Clemson historically has had problems with NC State getting past them and Pitt for some reason, but I don't see them struggling. Even though both teams are 4-3, I don't see them struggling all that much. I do think, Notre Dame fans, again, you're going to hate me, but I think you're going to struggle against Pitt this week, just because Pitt is a team that historically shows up in these big games, even though they're not great. The ESPN matchup predictor puts this at 90.8% Notre Dame. And if I know anything about Notre Dame, it's that they fail to show up when the lights are on. So good luck is all I'm going to say.
Right. That's funny.
Yeah. Outside of that, not an incredibly overwhelming week. I mean, we got Ohio State, Wisconsin. That's a Big Ten matchup. Looking forward to that. but I don't know how good of a team Ohio State is versus how great of a team Penn State was in that game. So I don't know why they're at
Yeah.
number 3 in the country. We're coming up on the part of the year, though, where you're going to have the College Football Playoff Committee putting out rankings on Tuesdays.
Yep.
So that's going to become something that we talk about on Thursdays here pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we'll enjoy getting into that.
Yeah.
So I guess for the final time today, this is Diamonds and Hash Marks. I'm the host and producer, Alex Pichardo.
And I'm the co-host, Peyton Machado. You dig? We'll see you later.
Yeah, we'll catch you Monday.